So thank you very much for joining us today on the last luncheon of the year. And it's a dreary day outside, so we probably don't have much competition today, but thank you very much for joining us. In case you haven't met me, I'm Helen Bosman, and I'm the Association Executive here at OKCMAR. And I'm going to cut down on my waffle, and we shall keep moving because I know we've got a lot to squeeze in. We've got Brian Copeland here, and he's going to be having a great chat and with us later and filling you in on all his things and bringing you some great perspectives. We're also going to be installing our 2021 boards for next year, so we're excited about that. We have never done this virtually before. And I was just telling the gentleman, Shawnee, Oklahoma, were asking yesterday whether this could be done. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to let you know after today. So the pressure is on, board members. You've got to do this amazingly well because Shawnee, Oklahoma are looking to you. So we're going to knock it out of the park. You know, and we were also just talking about next week's board meeting and COVID and everything. And this seems like a really great moment to have perhaps a moment of silence for all the people that we've lost this year with COVID, both here personally, that I know that you know people, and just across the nation. So if you wouldn't mind, we could set the tone today and just have a moment of silence for all those we've lost. Thank you. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. I would like to introduce JT Brown to you. He has been our OKCMAR president this year, and he's with McGraw Realtors. And, you know, JT has had a year that no one could have expected. And we've really done a lot of great things with the association. So I'm going to turn it over to JT, and he's going to tell us a few things about his year, how this went for the association. And I'm going to turn it over to you, JT, for a moment. Thank you.
Hey, well, thank you, Helen. I appreciate it. And good morning or lunchtime to everyone. I'm excited to see so many faces on the screen. It's a great opportunity. I want to take a minute to reflect on this year. When I last spoke in our inauguration almost a year ago, we were so excited about the challenges and the vision of 2020. 2020 will go down in our history books. It's a year we all had challenges that we never expect to have, and we all were surprised by them. And we had to stretch ourselves and get out of our comfort zone and learn a new way of doing things. This morning, I want to take a personal reflection of people, things, and situations that I'm thankful for. First of all, I'm thankful for the role I have in the real estate community, the opportunities that you've given me to lead this team this year, and to the great opportunities in the people that I got to work with and will continue to work with. I'm thankful for a board of directors that was supportive. They were supportive and helped to rise to the occasion of a very difficult and challenging situation at many times throughout the year. And hopefully we kept it painless and silent for most of everyone else. Didn't have to deal with it. I'm thankful for an amazing team at OKCMAR. I'm thankful for the team being led by Helen. And Helen did an amazing job. And guys, there was accomplishments made by Helen and her team that if we had tried to plan it, I don't think we could have done it. Certainly not in the timetable that Helen accelerated it to. We changed our education structure. We changed our office structure. Her and their team and their accomplishments. I'm thankful for you, our membership. I've learned a lot this year. You've all guided me. You've all given me your input, and I've appreciated that. I'm thankful to have known so many of great realtors that we lost this year, and I will miss them. I'm thankful for my friends, my family, my work family. So here's my message for us this year. Let's remember the good. and let's learn from the difficult times. I love you. I wish you the best holiday season. Be safe. Wear your mask. Happy holidays.
Oh, thank you, JT. Thank you. And you know, the staff, I mean, we just always really enjoy working with our boards and our leadership. And we have done things this year that, well, to be quite honest, we probably couldn't have got away with it in another year. But this year, realtors were so distracted, they're like, whatever, just keep trucking. So, but it's been great. We've made some really positive changes. We've moved stuff virtual. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy that moving forward. So thank you, JT, and thanks for everything this year. And of course, we're going to be doing this with more pomp and ceremony and fun and hors d'oeuvres on March the 3rd. We're going to do it at the Oklahoma City Zoo because you guys are a bunch of animals. Sorry, I just had to say that. We're going to be doing it at the zoo, at the new events pavilion. It's going to be super fun, and we're going to do it where it's not quite so seated, where you get a chance to get up and mingle and talk to other people, but we're still going to do all the good stuff like the awards, the speeches, and at this one there's going to be alcohol. It's going to be great. So it's going to be happy hour. So there's going to be all kinds of good stuff. So we will definitely work on our speeches and bring that to you. It's going to be fabulous. So I would like to introduce Brian Copeland to you. Brian, I see from his bio, I want to get to the important bit first. Brian, I see that you also have chickens, and so do I. And this is just such a great bonding moment for me. Chicken people, I think it's the way forward next year for our speakers. But no, seriously, Brian has been very involved both in his local market, which is Nashville, Tennessee, and he's going to be talking more about how things are there and what he's seeing. We were just talking about it before you guys popped in. But Brian is also very involved at the National Association of Realtors. Last year, he was the Vice President for Association Affairs. He's been involved as President of the Tennessee Realtors, and just a lot of marketing as well. So Brian is got a lot to talk to you about today, so I don't want to infringe upon his time anymore. First of all, he's going to get the boards sworn in. So this is going to be exciting. So Brian, I'm going to turn it over to you, and we will see how it goes. So thank you so much.
Great. Well, first, hi, everyone. It's such an honor to be with one of our sister cities from Nashville, Tennessee to Oklahoma City. We have a lot in common. Of course, the wonderful Carrie Underwood, who lives here now, but is in your home originally. So we certainly thank you for letting us borrow her for a little while. I'll go a little bit more over some more personal things later, but let's stay in ceremonial mode for now, and we'll go through our installation here. Of course, the directors and the officers, when we were originally going to pin you, but unfortunately spotlight you on the video, but we can only do 9 people, and there's going to be more than 9 of you. You'll be there holding your hand up on your own. We may be able to see you on the screen. We may not be able to see you on the screen, and that's perfectly fine. So let's start the ceremony. The board of directors are essential and a much needed voice, the member. I'm so honored to call upon these fine individuals to be inducted into the office for which each has been elected to serve in 2021. For OKCMAR, Kara Bose, Gabriela Chavez, Vanessa Johnson, Jeremy Kimbrough, Casey Kenny, Carolyn Sims. For MLS OK, Beth Atkinson, Jennifer Gilchrist, Vanessa Johnson, Janelle Randall. Now for the officers for 2021. For OKCMAR, JT Brown, past president, Steve Reese, president-elect, Emily K. Mitchelson, secretary-treasurer, Cheryl Pickens, vice president. For MLS OK, Monty Strickland, president, Jeff Langham, past president, Angelina Harris, president-elect, Sarah Mathis, secretary-treasurer. And I'm going to have you guys raise your hands here in a second and repeat after me. But for now, just a little reminder here. In the role that you are about to assume, you will no longer be private citizens, but public servants. You are now identified as officers of your local board dedicated to the best interest of the public and the real estate industry. and to the welfare of your members. As newly elected officers, you are entering a new adventure in service that involves communication and cooperation. This year, you will have the privilege of investing your time and unselfish interest in the lives of others involved in the real estate industry. By showing the qualities worthy of leading the board, you will advance the term realtor in the minds of others. Now, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I swear to uphold the Realtor Code of Ethics.
I swear to uphold the
Realtor Code of Ethics.
To advocate and protect private property rights.
To advocate
And protect
private
property rights.
Beautiful. And to always strive towards improving the professional standards of our industry.
and
Always
strive towards improving professional standards
of our industry.
Congratulations. Please join me in recognizing the 2021 OKCMAR and MLS OK Boards of Directors. Yay! All right. And now for our presidents. We're going to go ahead and spotlight Monty side by side with me here. So Monty, will bring you onto the screen. There he is. Good to see you. All right. And now for our presidents. Monty Strickland, please raise your right hand. In the role that you are about to assume, you will no longer be a private citizen, but a public servant. You are now identified as president of our local MLS, dedicated to the best interests of the public, the real estate industry, and the welfare of our members. This year, you will have the privilege of investing your time and unselfish interests in the life of others involved in the real estate industry. By showing the qualities worthy of leading MLS OK, you will have advanced the term realtor in the minds of others. Now repeat after me. I swear to uphold the code of ethics.
I swear to uphold the code of ethics.
To uphold my fiduciary duties as president.
To uphold my fiduciary duties as president.
Represent MLS OK in the best light.
Represent MLS OK in the very best light.
To advocate for private property rights and the real estate industry.
To advocate for private property rights in the real estate industry.
And to always strive to improve the professionalism of our industry.
And to always strive to improve professionalism of our industry.
Ladies and gentlemen of the MLS OK, I present to you your 2021 president, Monty Strickland.
Thank you so much. Brian, I really appreciate you being with us today, and I'll kind of keep this brief, but definitely want to thank my good friend Jeff for his leadership in the past year. It's been a whirlwind, but he had steady hands on the reins and got us where we needed to be. So we definitely appreciate him for that. Also want to thank Helen and the tireless work that both she and the staff do for us. Guys, it's no easy task, and they, especially given the circumstances of this year, they pulled off some heroic efforts, and they are definitely to be commended for that. So my goals for the year, I want to maximize your return on your investment for being in our organization. And I want to make it clear that that's not just for OKCMAR members. We serve a very broad swath in our state, and want to always understand that and look out for our members who don't belong in just OKCMAR, but Edmond and Mid-Del-More and all the other areas that we serve. So we're a large group of over 6,000 members, and that's not taken lightly by anyone at OKCMAR or on the MLS board. So thank you all for your participation. Thank you for your commitment to what we're trying to do. And we want to provide the best tools possible, give you the education that you need so you can be the very best realtor that you can be. So with that, that's about all I have. I'm always available here for you guys. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to contact me at any time. And I appreciate this honor to serve as your MLS president for 2021. So thank you so much. Everyone have a great day.
Great job, Monty. Thank you so much for your gift of time.
Yes,
to all
sir.
of us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so now we're going to spotlight Stephen. So Stephen comes on. All right, good to see you, Stephen. Before we start here, I made a few phone calls to some of your friends to find out what they would say about you. There was a very common theme that I heard about you, and it was about your wicked sense of humor. Your amazing collection of memes that few people get to see, and your love for kimonos. So it's so wonderful to know your sense of humor. But on the serious side, people said you had a very calming presence about you. They said you always have a way to make everything right, no matter what you do. They said that many people lead because they want to get a feather in their cap. But for you, it was about doing the right thing, and you're doing it for all the right reasons. You're a very, very well respected person in your area. So Stephen, now we lead to the person that carries the weight of our membership, our staff, the press, the legislators, and the public. Your 2021 OKCMAR President, Steve Ligon, please raise your right hand. In the role you're about to assume, you will no longer be a private citizen, but a public servant. You're now identified as president of your local board, dedicated to the best interest of the public, the real estate industry, and to the welfare of your members. This year, you will have the privilege of investing your time and unselfish interests in the lives of others involved in the real estate industry. By showing the qualities worthy of leading the board, you will have advanced the term realtor in the minds of others. Now, please repeat after me. I swear to uphold the code of ethics.
I swear to uphold the code of ethics.
To uphold my fiduciary duties as president.
To uphold my fiduciary duties as president.
Represent OKCMAR in the best light.
Represent OKCMAR in the best light.
To advocate for private property rights and the real estate industry.
To advocate for private property rights in the real estate industry.
And to always strive to improve the professionalism of our industry.
And to always strive to improve the professionalism of our industry.
Ladies and gentlemen of OKCMAR, I present to you your 2021 president, Steve Ligon.
Thank you, Brian. And sorry if you heard some noise there in the background. In case you don't know, I have a few children in my house, and they tend to make noise at these appropriate moments. So here we are. But they're not in the room with me. They're just noisy. That's how it works. I want to echo some of the same sentiments really that JT first kind of led us with, and then that Monty said. But I want to thank JT for his leadership during this year that's been, as I know everybody's used the same words over and over again, and we're probably all a little tired of hearing them, but unprecedented is the word. As an organization, as an industry, we've had to do things that we've never had to do before. We've had to consider things that have never crossed our minds before. And the flexibility that our board and that our staff responded with has just been incredible to be a part of at all. Most members probably will never even know all the different kind of processes that take place on a day-to-day basis that had to be adjusted, that had to be done differently, that had to be thought of differently, and had to be totally reimagined really for the way that we do things. And I just want to commend everyone involved in that process. I am unbelievably honored to be in this spot, to be in this position. And what I want to drive home is truly the idea that this is not about me, this is not about JT, this is not about Helen, this isn't about Monty, this isn't about any of us as individuals, as much as, you know, for a few moments we kind of like having a little bit of light on us, but it's not about that. This is about you all, this is about our industry as a whole, this is about real estate, and this is about housing and about the things that we really do that matter for me. So that's all I want to leave you with. I want to be brief. I don't want to yammer on for days and days. I want to hear what Brian has to say. So thank you. I'm honored to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Stephen. And you know, we're looking forward to working with our new presidents. Well, Monty's not so new, but we're recycling Monty. But we're looking forward to working with our new presidents in the coming year. We have enjoyed working with JT and Jeff this year, and we're looking forward to working with our new boards. We've got lots of new board members coming in next year, and with that always brings lots of new ideas. And you know, this year has really been a time of, you know, when you when the magician shakes that tablecloth and everything goes up in the air, it's not going to come back down the same, and our industry and our association won't come back down the same. But we're going to keep moving forward with that and making positive changes out of it. And things that perhaps needed to have been done for a while, getting all our forms virtual and everything. So there's some great things. We're going to have some great new ideas, some fun new events, and we're looking forward to it. But I'm going to turn it over to Brian, and he's going to be giving us his talk today, and it looks very exciting. So take it away, Brian. Thank you.
Yay. Well, I love doing this kind of format. People don't know that I'm a digital extrovert, but in real life, I'm kind of a middlevert. So I'm very comfortable online. I'm very comfortable getting text messages and emails and chats with you guys. So this is home for me. So thank you guys for welcoming me today. As Helen said earlier, I do live on a farm. I just had this office installed here on the farm. It's a tiny home on our acreage here. And I moved in September. Today they decided to bush hog. So you may hear a tractor in the background. And then Helen, you didn't see this because I haven't told anybody yet, but we got goats. And so the goats are right behind me. If you see the Christmas trees behind me, they're just on the other side of that wall. So you may hear goats too. Our cow was just born, so our cow will be here in a few weeks for us. And we're just adding everything to the farm. We're just a big old happy family here. So today we're going to be talking about moments. And as I open the presentation here, you'll have a black screen, so don't panic. It's uploading now. But here we'll talk a little about the power of moments and how that we can create powerful moments together. Again, thank you guys for having me. And I want to start by introducing one of the most important people in my life. Let's see, I've got somebody chatting here, so I can't see my cursor here. So excuse me 1 second there. There we go. Let me move that over there. And the cursor's back. One of the most important people in my life is this little lady right here. This is Miss Esther Copeland. She is my 6-year-old daughter. She is the light of my life. And everything I do, I want to be a moment for this special little girl. And so one of the things that she loves more than anything, toys. And so this is at the corner of Myatt Drive and Gallatin Pike here in Nashville, Tennessee. And over the holiday seasons, over everything, my children, I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old, this was their favorite place in the entire world to visit. Toys R Us. Absolutely loved it. This is what it looked like a few weeks after I took that photo. And then now it's an empty parking lot. And we all have had Toys R Us's in our area. What happened? Every time I went in, it was packed. Every time I experienced looking for toys, Toys R Us was always first on the URL and the web search. What happened to them? I'll tell you, when I took little Esther into Toys R Us, every single time, they treated her like an intruder. They treated Micah, my son, like an intruder. We could barely get help. When you went to see something on the shelves, it was very sterile. It wasn't a great customer experience at all. In contrast, this is Esther in New York City. This is in Rockefeller Center in January of last year. We were at FAO Schwartz, which has a new store there in Rockefeller Center. And this is her working with magicians. She's getting to demo the toys there, and the magician is showing her how to do certain things. And then this photo, this is her shopping in the FAO Schwartz grocery store. So she was able to get her groceries. She was able to take these groceries to her own conveyor belt, unload them. They had a cash register for her to check out her own groceries and play with all the toys. So again, a very, very powerful experience, very different from what we saw at Toys R Us. And this is the kind of moment that people want. And when I think about moments for me, I'm a TripAdvisor freak. I do not travel anywhere without going to TripAdvisor. And so if I'm going to Oklahoma City, usually I stay at that Marriott over there. TripAdvisor says it's really nice. It needs a new carpet, but that's okay. I swear by TripAdvisor. So if we go to TripAdvisor and we're looking at Los Angeles hotels, it brings up your 2 top hotels. And you'll look at, this is ranked #1 in Los Angeles. It's called the Hotel Bel Air. And then I would argue, though, that the #2 hotel, which is Magic Castle, it used to be ranked #1. It goes back and forth between #1 and #2. And when you look at the review levels here, Hotel Bel Air has 716 reviews. Magic Castle has 3,100 reviews. And then you can see here how many excellent reviews they have. Magic Castle is on the right, and Bel Air is on the left, okay? This is the entry to Bel Air. This is the entry to Magic Castle. This is the front of Bel Air, the front of Magic Castle. This is a crime map of Bel Air. You can see 1 Grand Theft Auto and 1 burglary. No real problems with crime in the area. This is Magic Castle's crime map. I couldn't get the star where Magic Castle is because there was too much crime in the immediate area. It's just below that area. Okay. This is your suite at the Bel Air. Each suite has its own private fireplace outside, and then they all have their own private pools on the outside. And then they've got this beautiful bathroom there. Now, at Magic Castle, this is your bathroom, and this is your room that you sleep in. And so I know you're all asking, you know, why is the Bel Air this pool? Why does it rank up there with this pool at Magic Castle? They don't compare. This doesn't make any sense. And you wonder, okay, beautiful hotel, kind of crummy hotel. What's going on here? Well, Magic Castle has a red telephone at their pool, okay? They have a red telephone. And 24 hours a day, you can pick up this red telephone and they will bring you a popsicle. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you get a free popsicle. You can pick that telephone up 30 times an hour. They're going to bring you a popsicle every single time. And then when you go to your room, this is your snack list menu. You know, it's pretty obvious here. Let me scoot over so you can see a little bit better there. Or let me actually move myself over so you can see it. I'll make myself a little bit smaller. All right, so that's their snack list. But if you notice here at the bottom, it says free laundry service and Wi-Fi for guests of Magic Castle. Well, Wi-Fi is no big deal. Every hotel has it. But it says free laundry service. And you think, oh, you just take quarters and you put the quarters in the machine and or they give you tokens and it's free. No, 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 no. They come get your dirty laundry. They wash your laundry. They fold your laundry and bring it back to you. There are people who go to Disneyland in Anaheim, California. They'll spend a whole week and then they'll spend their last 2 days at Magic Castle just so they can get their laundry done for free and then come home. So what Magic Castle has learned is they create popsicle moments. They have learned that, you know, to compete with a Bel Air or a Mandarin Oriental or a JW Marriott, they have to really show out. And they're showing out through the most simple things: popsicles and laundry. Popsicles and laundry. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what are your popsicle moments? What are your free laundry moments? And just a personal conversation with you. I have several friends on this call today. Carolyn has been a friend for years, Steve Reese, Steve, so many close friends here. And they that know my history, I was a team here in Nashville. I had a team of 8, and I worked my butt off with the team constantly. And then I went into the volunteer world and got very active. I got very involved in my brokerage, started being the chief of broker services for a large company here in Nashville. And I kind of let my sales go to the wayside because, you know, my team was doing it. In 2019, I got to be vice president of NAR. And in November, I said, I'm going to recreate myself and I'm going to redo my entire business. And I am going to focus on what hedgehog moments are. And so I got rid of, they're still with my company, but I'm a one-person team now. I do everything from contract to close. I show all the buyers myself. I put the MLS entry in myself. And I know many of you are sitting there going, Brian, what in the world are you doing? And I'm not bashing teams. Hear me clearly. Team is spectacular to have. But for me, I had to create a hedgehog moment. And what I mean by hedgehog moments is the hedgehog does only one thing. It's the only thing they can do in the animal kingdom that makes them special. And they roll themselves into a ball to protect themselves from predators. Okay. So I had to ask myself, what do I do in this realtor kingdom that I feel is better than anybody? And when I got down to that, I had to say that segmentation of my customer service under me was what I could offer. Because we're in a marketplace now where consumers need realtors now more than ever. One of my buyers sent me over a listing last night that was a for sale by owner that was on a major aggregated site. And I told him, I said, hey, you know, the seller has said they won't work with agents, just so you know, see that in there. I was like, I'm happy to work with you through the process, but they're not going to work with me on that. And he said, absolutely not. We have to have a realtor on our side. That's the consumer that we're seeing grow more now than ever, especially in this COVID and post-COVID time. It is renewing concierge service because so many people are so used now to everything online that now that person-to-person, face-to-face, toe-to-toe interaction is so important. When I recreated my business, again, from a team of 8 to a team of just me, I've done more. I have 2 more closings this year, and then I'll be done. I've outdone my team of 8 by myself by $10 million this year, okay? Because I looked and said, I'm going to create moments in every situation, okay? And I'm going to talk about some of those moments today with you because many of us are going through a renaissance of ourselves. Perhaps you're a phoenix who has gone to ashes and you've got to re-rise. Perhaps you're a team leader for your team of 7, 8, 20, and you need to recreate what your business looks like. Perhaps you are a commercial agent and you're seeing greater vacancies than you've ever seen before. You're an appraiser and people are pressing you to make value in these accelerated markets, or you're an affiliate here today and you're used to getting business from face-to-face interaction and COVID doesn't let you have that. This is the time, especially now in December and January, to recreate your business. And if you're not happy with the business you have, no one is telling you to keep the business you have. And just like I had to do, I had to recreate myself. Okay. So a few things that, that I've had to do. And again, a lot of these things are elementary, but it's a great reminder to think about, you know, what is your buyer experience? What are you asking before they get with you? What I'm finding is so many people are just putting buyers in cars or meeting them somewhere without taking the time to counsel with them. I call this whole process, and many of you have heard me say this, I call this, when I was raised in East Tennessee, I was raised in a very portly family. We loved to eat. We loved our carbs. And I was the youngest of the portly family. And so we always got those biscuits and they came in a can and there were 8 of them and there were 4 of us. So that means 2 biscuits per person. Well, not when you're in a portly family. You have to get your biscuit and mark it or you're going to lose it. And so as the youngest kid, I never got a biscuit. And I learned that I had to lick my biscuits. And so I call this whole process licking your biscuit, as Steve Reese put in the chat bar, because he's heard this before. There's brokerages who have this on their walls. It says lick your biscuits, because these buyers and these sellers, they need to be marked. And the way you The way you mark I'm not saying lick your clients, hear me clearly. I'm saying you need to let them know that you care so much about them, that you're investing time into them. And there's several ways to lick your biscuits here. So for my buyers, I tell them immediately, if you were I've got a referral coming in right for this today. When I hang up, I've got a referral from California coming in. So when I talk to them, I got to assure the agent that they will immediately be lit. And through that, they'll get an hour and a half buyer consultation. And we're going to go over everything. And this is what I love about Zoom and this whole online piece now. We're now able to show neighborhoods in a totally different way to prep them. These are the kind of things that you need to be checking with your buyer before. We've got to start talking about connections and agency and ethics now more than ever, because people have gotten away from personal interaction. And people need to understand our ethics. And we're in a very politically divided world where people have opinions about people's ethics, and they need to see the professional as that person. So I highly encourage you now more than ever to talk about your ethics and your professionalism and what you do. Give them a copy of the Code of Ethics. Talk to them about this whole area. And then, about what's the seller experience. And there's a whole new seller experience for me now in this virtual world. And when I go back to this lick the biscuits concept, buyers and sellers want to know that you know what you're doing. And the way I look at them and say, you could hire a pilot who has flown and landed the plane in the most dangerous mountain of Brazil more than 1,000 times, or you could hire a pilot that has landed it successfully twice. I pilot the most difficult flights every single day to the most difficult places. And it's my job to get you there. And so when buyers and sellers hear that during COVID and during a pandemic, that you can still close deals, that you know what you are doing, they feel that relief of, I'm going to be able to close and see a success in my family. Okay. Home is now more important than anything right now. The top needs we're seeing, we have to change our counseling and our sellers as we're staging to say, how have you staged up an office? I just listed one last week. It didn't have a sensible office. So we had to show them that they could have 2 separate offices, one for multiple people living in the, one for one person in the home, one for another person in the home, and still have a place for flex space. Strong Wi-Fi, obviously a big selling point. Having Google Fiber in a neighborhood, those are the selling points we want to make now. We need to tell our sellers right now what I'm working on, and I cannot find a technology to do this, is Alexa self-tours for homes. There is a technology out there, but they're only doing it in commercial right now. I've spoken to them. I've spoken to Second Century Ventures. No one's doing that now, but imagine where we can walk in, because if we go back into shelter in place and we're not allowed to enter homes based off of state regulations, when we can have Alexas in and someone goes to the front door and they say, okay, there's a list of commands here, and they can enter the home with the realtor on the front porch, and they say, Alexa, I got to stop. My Alexa's going to go off here in a second. Let me change the name. They say, Mary, I'll use that instead of the real word. Tell me about this living room. And then now you program in the information so as they go through, they can use it. So sellers and buyers need to know that we are thinking ahead, and still technology is behind in some cases in those zones. This is a little thing I do with my buyers who have children. There's 2 versions of this. This is the more feminine version, but again, it's gender neutral either way if you want to go with either gender. This is a secret garden. It comes in a flower pail, watering can. And this is a rolled up map that they get. It comes with a little garden tool and a pack of seeds and some garden gloves. And I give it to the children, and then they have their scavenger hunt here. And it's simple things like, as we drive to each house, how many stop signs can you count? As at the first house, what color are the walls of your room that you want to be yours? And so at the end of the scavenger hunt, given that they find everything, which they always do, I have a little combo lockbox I take with me, and I give them the code as their treasure map, and then it unlocks, and there's McDonald's gift cards inside. So just a simple way to engage the children. The other version of this is a pirate map, and it comes in. I partnered with my lender, and they created these treasure chests, cardboard treasure chests for me. And inside there's a bandana, a patch, and the map. That's a treasure map. So a way to endear kids and show the families that you care about every person in this search. So just a little way to create a moment, because again, we're talking about how do we create moments for people right now. Another moment I've started doing for my buyers is this is a family over in West Nashville. They closed their home the week after we went in shelter in place in Nashville. And I do photography. So, but you don't have to do photography to do this. Go do a professional photo shoot with your clients inside their home or on their front porch after they've had their time. Now they love to have their professional photos in their home, and it gives them something to share with their friends. Again, creating a moment for them. I would really encourage you all, and this is one of the biggest tips I can give you today, is everything that you were doing pre-COVID, I want you to make a list, get a Google document out, a Google spreadsheet or Excel or whatever you're using, and write down every single thing that you were doing for your client or past client. I'm not talking about contract to close. I'm not talking about showing houses. I'm talking about client parties, photo sessions you're doing, whatever. Write down everything that you were doing in person and then create a digital parallel list. And for every single thing on that spreadsheet, write down something that would be a digital parallel. And let me give you an example. Each year I do photos with Santa. And so we did our photos with Santa. It was at my office. We had a great turnout. The clients come out free. They get t-shirts and great pictures with Santa. Well, we usually do an Easter thing with the Easter Bunny. I have Easter Bunny costumes. I have Paw Patrol costumes. It's a kids TV show, so the kids can. I can let people borrow the Paw Patrol costumes for their parties. Those were $400 each, so I've got $1,200 worth of costumes that people can borrow. So I've got all these things, Easter Bunny, all this stuff, and I thought I can't do photos with the Easter Bunny this year. This was April of 2020, and so we said, how do we create this digital parallel of that? And so we did a digital Easter egg hunt. And the way it flowed was it kicked off. I had my spouse in one room on a Zoom window, and then I was on another Zoom window. My spouse was dressed as the Easter Bunny, and the kids came in on Zoom, and they asked the Easter Bunny questions, and I was the Easter Bunny's translator. So the Easter Bunny just pretty much stood there and made silly Easter and bunny ear language with his hands, and then I translated what I thought the kids would want to hear. And then once we finished that, while we were waiting to set up the egg hunt, my dad came on, and he was at his house just down the road, and he did a sing-along with them of Here Comes Peter Cottontail and all kinds of just fun Easter kid songs, You Are My Sunshine, that kind of thing. So while he was doing the singing and the sing-along with the kids, we took GoPro cameras that are Wi-Fi accessible, put it on the kids' heads, gave them Easter baskets, and then we hid a number of eggs throughout our yard. And the kids on screen were tasked to see how many eggs they could see that my kids picked up, and then how many eggs they thought were truly in the yard. And then their parents had to email us the egg count. Okay, so at the end of it, my kids went out and had the GoPro cameras and doing all that thing. We actually had San Francisco's Children's Hospital join us. A nurse saw that with one of her friends and said, "Hey, our kids really want to get out of the hospital and do something like this. Would you mind if we join?" So we had a whole children's ward in San Francisco on. We had kids from San Antonio. Keep in mind, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. We had kids from San Antonio in, and then we had tons of kids from Nashville in the area. And it was just a great time. I had more at that than I would have had with my pictures with the Easter Bunny. Once we got our winners, we actually ended up with 4 winners because some kids tied. Within 2 hours, they had $50 Amazon gift cards in their parents' boxes. So again, you can do digital parallels. You just got to get creative with it and say, what can I do that's truly going to make a difference for people? So as you're looking at 2021, I highly recommend you do the digital parallel inventory. And it's simply, again, just write down everything that you're doing in real life and then what you can do digitally that parallels it. I guarantee you, if you challenge yourself, you will find something that you can do in that world. So just a simple example for you guys. We're doing I do viewing parties. We'll start a movie at the same time. And it's not that we're talking, but it's just the idea that you're watching a movie with a community of people. There's tons of things you can do to bring your clients together. And this is the time to be talking about those things. We've talked a little bit about these 4 areas, and this is my pre-listing package. This is our coffee can. And I Photoshop the photo of the house on the front, put their address, and then this goes on a coffee can of local coffee, and it's dropped off at the door of the folks. So again, a pre-listing package. It's a little bit different than what you would see in your normal pre-listing. And then how are you telling stories? This is a huge part of what I believe we're making moments right now for. We in the real estate industry have been caught up in this whole notion of 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, $325,000 on a 1/4 acre with a basement. That's the story we're telling. And what the public is hearing is wah, 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 because they can get that story from your competitors that are not realtors who have online websites, okay? We can name tons of real estate websites. That's what they can get there. What they cannot get from those online portals are the stories behind the homes. And I'm going to share with you a few stories here, and I'll read this one to you. Fall in love. In 2007, Chris bought a home on Horseshoe Drive in East Nashville. Mary bought a home on Horseshoe Drive too. In August of 2018, Chris took a stroll down the street. Mary was mowing her yard. Chris decided to stop and ask Mary for a date. She said yes. In November 2019, Mary said yes again. This time it was for forever. They just bought a new home together. Now they are selling each of theirs, his first. You may not fall in love on Horseshoe Drive, but you will fall in love with Horseshoe Drive. Come write your story. Okay, so what are the stories you're not asking your clients? Okay, this story got so much leverage everywhere. I could have easily said 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, but instead I told the story of how they ultimately fell in love. And I asked their permission. I was like, hey, do you mind if I tell this story? And they're like, go for it. And his house was a little bit harder to sell. Her house was 239. His was going to be 335. They were the same size, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. The difference was he was a corner lot with a garage. So we were going for the premium price. We were able to sell because, again, people had this love with the story. By the time we put her house on the market, it went in multiple offers. So, and again, it's wonderful customer service. They get something different. Another example is right before when COVID hit, I showed you the picture of the couple earlier. Well, I was also listing a condo in a luxury high rise, and it was a newer building and nothing had sold in there yet. So there were no comps whatsoever. And everything in that neighborhood was probably $200,000 to $400,000 less. So I was testing the market on this, but these people had to sell. But as we were about to hit the market, we hit shelter in place. So now I'm stuck with the highest price condo in that whole area, and I'm stuck with COVID shelter in place. And so this is the story we told. This week, I'm taking this amazing West End condo to the market. You have to hear the stories on these light fixtures. My sellers have exquisite tastes and take great pride in details. My favorite is the story behind the pendant lights over the island. They were designed in 1950 in Denmark. They were then given as a wedding gift to the original owner, and he didn't like them. So he stored them in his barn, virtually untouched. Last year, they made their way out of the barn and into this condo. The living room fixture is just gorgeous. No cool story. It was just made in Cossack, Germany in the 1950s. The dining room fixture is a showstopper in person. It was made around 1959 and has 28 flawless chip-free glass tubes. It was manufactured in Canada and discovered in a mid-century modern home in Detroit. Touring the home to see the fixtures is worth the visit, but you will see the floor plan touches and care for every detail. You'll know it's for you. This story was seen by a doctor and his wife. They sent it over in my Facebook feed. They sent it over to their agent. They went in that day. They wrote full price, all cash, and we closed within 30 days because they saw the story. Again, had I said luxury condo in West End Park with 2 bedrooms and 2 baths, everybody told that story. So challenge yourself to say, and this is where sellers and sellers want to tell you the story of their homes. They're begging you to listen to them. And every home you list, I don't care what it is, if it is in a subdivision where it is copy paste, they look just alike, there's a story there. And it's your job to be a creative director. It is your job to find the story in every home you sell. I just listed a home this week. It went active on Monday, and it used to belong to Lance Bass of NSYNC. Okay. And of course, I can't use Lance Bass's name or the term NSYNC. So I told the story of the features of the home through NSYNC lyrics. And so now we have got 2 parties interested in that. They're drawn to the fact that it's a boy band house, and we're being unique in it. So the message here is strive to find the unique stories. And while you can't tell those stories in the MLS as easily, you can tell those stories in your social areas. You can do that by video, all kinds of ways. So just tell the stories. Now, let's talk a little bit about this. And this is very cliche. But would you show up to a listing appointment dressed like the guy on the left? No, probably not. We probably wouldn't dress like the guy on the right. That's probably overdressed, but it still looks really, really good. You know, we wouldn't show up at a listing appointment like that. Would we show up a listing appointment with buyers or to a listing appointment or with buyers driving a car that looks like the one on the left? No, we're spending, minimum, we're spending $30,000, $40,000 on a nice car. Some of you are driving $80,000 cars because you want to look good for your consumer. And every day I see people spending $150 on hairstyles. We're investing in the way we look. Yet right now in this COVID world, this is what I'm seeing from agents. I'm seeing them go onto Zoom and look like this. You would not show up to a listing appointment or show up with buyers in the clothing that the gentleman had on to the left. And you wouldn't show up in that car perhaps, or you wouldn't show up with crazy hair. Why are we showing up on Zoom meetings looking like this? We will invest $40,000 in a car. We will invest hundreds of dollars in a hairstyle, yet we won't invest in our technology to where we look good online. So if you look here on the screen here, you can see where, I've invested. I've got a professional audio mic here that cost me, about $100. I've got an arm here. There is a light here that brings light onto my face. There is a window here. I've got, as you can see in the back, I've got 10 feet behind me. So you've got that nice bokeh effect with the Christmas trees in the back. I've got a 4K adapter here that goes into a Sony mirrorless camera in front of me on its own tripod. And then behind this, there is an entire screen behind the camera. So when I'm looking at my presentation, it's behind me here, but I can look straight at you, okay? When I meet with my consumers, I got on with some buyers the other night and they thought that I was pre-recorded. And I was talking to them and they were like, wow, this looks so good. Well, because I expect quality for my business and I'm going to expect the quality for your search. If you're a luxury agent, if your average sale price, I don't know what your average sale price in your area is, but let's say your average sale price is $650 to $850 and you're showing up and you've got bad lighting, if you've got bad audio, if you are looking down at the camera the whole time or they're looking up your nostrils or they can see your ceiling, not a good experience. So think about the moment. This is digital leadership. And, even when I look now at you guys, you can see I'm going back and forth because I've got a screen here, but I got a screen back there. But now I'm looking at you in the eye. And when I'm talking to a buyer, there's a strategy. And again, if we're creating a moment for someone, I got to look you in the eye and I'm going to say, Patrick, there are 3 houses on the market in your price point. And the one that hit the market today that you are thinking about will be gone tomorrow. We can't wait. Okay. Now I'm looking you in the eye. Yet if I say, Patrick, there are 3 homes on the market. The one that you like the most will be gone. Again, we got to make eye contact. The way you make eye contact is in the lens of the camera. Okay. So think through this. I'm challenging you guys because I tell you, I hired a consultant to come in about 2 months ago and make sure that everything was right for me. It matters. It matters to the consumer. Again, it's your new digital dress. This is your Lamborghini that you're driving around, or your Lexus, or your Infiniti, or whatever you choose to drive. Show up online looking good. This is the new wave, in my opinion, of way that we will look online. The last thing I want to talk about here in the Power of Moments, as we start to sum all this up, is about people and clients. Because moments should be about our consumers. And I want to talk to my brokers here, and I want to talk to my sales agents here, because this same message handles and goes across the board for everyone. All the concepts today I'm talking to you about come out of a book called The Power of Moments by Chip and Dan Heath. I would highly recommend that you buy this book and read it. The Power of Moments by Chip and Dan Heath. I will put that in the chat group for you here. I'm going to put it to everyone here. The Power of Moments, Chip and Dan Heath. And there are two big concepts I want to go over in this book with you that will change your life. We're actually taking this through our board of directors this year. This is our book for the year. And this is what we're going to be following. The first concept is creating these magical moments, like the Magic Castle, popsicle moments. And all my life, I've been accused of being extra in life. Everybody's like, we always do stuff extra, like my video setup. It's going to be extra because, again, I want to go the extra mile for you today. But with the second concept in Power of Moments is the idea of tripping over the truth. And for those of you who are watching this video later on YouTube, because you can watch it again, they're going to have it uploaded for you guys. Or if you're watching it live, I'm sorry for the disgusting example I'm going to give you from the book. So if you're eating and you have a weak stomach, take a moment, okay? So in a small African village, they were having a sewage issue. And the book calls it a dirty word, but I'm going to say, just for today, I'm going to use the word poop, okay? So people were pooping all over the village, okay? And so all the sewage was going into the food and water supply, and it was killing them. They were having health issues like you would not believe in this little tiny village, and they were seeing more deaths in this tiny African village than anywhere. And so this nonprofit come in and said, we're going to put outhouses in. Boom, we solved the problem, we're done. You know what those people did in the village? They pooped outside the outhouses and on the outhouses. And they couldn't figure out why in the world they would have these outhouses and these people wouldn't go use the bathroom inside of them. So what the consultant did, he came in with the villagers and the village leaders and just talked to them. He asked them factual questions and said, so, and again, this is so gross, but he said, whose poop is this? And he'd walk around to the poop and he would say, whose is this? And they would giggle and say, well, that's mine. Well, why did you choose this place to go? And then they would answer the question. And then he would go through, and I'll spare some of the grosser details. Sorry, gross enough as it is. But finally, after this whole tour of the sewage around their area, he takes a glass of water and takes a drink of it, pours a little bit more in it, and then he pulls a hair out of his head and dips the hair into some of the street remains and puts it into the water, pulls it out and hands it to the village leader and says, take a drink. And the village leader says, no, I'm not taking a drink of that. What are you doing? And he says, well, do you see all these flies here? Yes. Well, the flies are all over your poop, right? Yeah. Do these flies land on your food? And the village leader said, yes. He said, do you think flies have more on their legs, or do you think my hair has more? They started using those toilets the next day because they had to create a moment for this African village called tripping over the truth. And tripping over the truth, we're in a society today, and again, this goes to social media, this goes to political divides. You cannot tell anyone anything right now, okay? If you tell them something they don't agree with, it's just going to make them madder and get you further and further away from them. So you have to create ways to trip over the truth with them, whether it be a price adjustment, whether it be a smell in the home that needs to be adjusted, whether it be an unrealistic price point that a buyer wants in an area that hasn't seen a home for under $200,000 in 10 years. For you to tell them, buyer, you can't afford to be in this neighborhood. It's not been under 200,000 for 10 years. Seller, this upstairs smells like a dirty dog. What are you doing at that point with your language? You're creating a negative moment for them. You're not creating a powerful moment. Think about how you can help your sellers and your buyers trip over the truth. How can you create examples to say, hey, yeah, you want to live in this area, but let them discover the truth of the pricing through your facilitation, through the facilitation of facts. We tend as realtors, we tend to think that someone has already walked this road and they should just take what we say for our expertise. And it can come across as rude sometimes to them. Sometimes we have to let them trip over their truth. And as we look at tripping over your truth, as you see on screen here, there's some unhappy people. And this is for, again, you brokers and your sales agent. I want you to think about, if you're a broker, the worst agent you deal with every day or every week. You know exactly who they are. I know who mine is. I know when the caller ID goes off and it says that person's name, I go, what's going to happen here? And then you got that client also, and you've got that seller or that buyer, and you see that phone ring and you're like, here it goes. This is not going to be a good situation. Well, what this on the screen is talking about is this unhappy person. And then you've got here in the middle, your goal is to take unhappy people, and these three levels here down below is dissatisfied. The middle here is satisfied, and then up top is super satisfied, and they're an advocate for you. Okay, so this is kind of how everything falls out. Okay, and what we tend to do in real estate is we're down here with the unhappy people. And we're constantly chasing to make these people happy. And what data and statistics show is you will spend 4 times more energy and 4 times more money by trying to make these people satisfied and move to this area of the chart. Okay, 4 times more. And then once they move here, they are 10 times more likely to move back to being unhappy, because they will find something new to be unhappy about. Okay, so what the goal here is we're trying to get people to trip over the truth of their negativity, is we got to focus here on the people here in the middle. These are the people that are often forgotten. They're satisfied with your service, they like you a lot, but you haven't spent the money or the time or energy to make them a raging ambassador for you. And again, statistics show you can spend $1 on these people to make them raging fans, as opposed to $4 to take these people on the bottom just to make them satisfied for a few days. It's almost the end of the year. You need to think, do you need to be looking at your entire client pool? Do you need to look at your brokerage pool? And do you need to give the gift of goodbye to people? You got to really consider that this time. Life is hard right now. There's miserable people out there. Miserable people will make you miserable. And I call this the social enema. Sometimes you just got to flush them out of your system and get them gone. And so if you're a broker and you've got the same agent who maybe they're selling more than anybody, but they continue to be negative, you've got the right and the responsibility to take care of the people, the happy people there in the middle, and make them raging fans. If you've got clients who are tearing you down in 2020 still, you can give them the gift of goodbye. You know what? You have my permission to give them the gift of goodbye. Because part of being a powerful moment is focusing on the ones that matter the most in life. And those are those satisfied customers. And you can create powerful moments by inviting them to an Easter egg hunt, by giving them a great story on a listing presentation, by bringing them a popsicle at the poolside. So as you start your business planning for 2021, and as you finish up 2020, I want you to ask this one simple question. What are the moments that I am creating for every person I touch? Whether it be a family member, whether it be that high school person who just has all the opinions online on Facebook, or whether it be a buyer, a seller, or if you're the president of OKCMAR and you're working with your consumers, the actual realtor themselves, or you're on the board of directors and you're serving the members. What is, in every situation that you do, how do you create a powerful moment? And being with you guys today has been a powerful moment for me. So thank you guys so much for having me. I hope you have a great, great, great end of your 2020 and holiday season. And I will see you in 2021. Back to you, Helen.
Thank you so much, Brian. I think everyone really enjoyed that. And I did see someone post in the chat, they were asking if this was being recorded, and it was. So we shall get this up on our webpage, and then we'll share that on social media. So you will get to be experienced by many more of our members over the next few weeks. And I'm sure everyone's going to be sending this link to people in their offices and sharing it. I think that was wonderful. Thank you so much, Brian. And this was a great way to end our year. So we are very appreciative. Thank you very much. And yes, and in fact, you know, if you are just going to give a little shout out to you here, if you want to come back next year and teach a little class for us on how to do backgrounds, you know, for Zoom meetings, and just dig into that some more and give people some helpful ideas, I think that would be appreciated, because I think we've all seen some things this year that we can't forget about. So help with backgrounds would be great. Maybe we can work on that. It looks like you've done a lot with Facebook as well. So I think we're going to be back in touch with you. So thank you, Brian. Thank you to all of our new and old board and to our assorted membership. Thank you to our presidents, and we will see you all safe, well, and happy, God willing, in 2021. Thank you.